What's up, everyone? Welcome to the guitar tutorial for the song Fascist Moments. This is my song from my 2018 record Simple Answers. It's my orchestral record. It's a record with a 17-piece chamber orchestra and guitar and singers. And Fascist Moments is kind of the centerpiece of that record. And what we're going to learn today is the acoustic guitar intro to it, unaccompanied acoustic guitar intro. And this intro also is the electric guitar part that goes behind the chorus of the song. So it's the first part that I wrote, along with the chorus, and then I just took the vocals out and had it as an intro as well on acoustic. If you haven't checked out Simple Answers, there's a purchase link for that below. There's also a link below for the Behind the Music documentary that I made about the making of Simple Answers, which goes into all this conceptual stuff and music theory stuff and compositional stuff. Today, though, this is going to be just guitar, how to play this. The most important link below is the one to download the PDF of the tab for this passage of music. So yeah, definitely download that, put it up on the screen or have hard copy in front of you. And there's also going to be parts of the tab on the screen below once we get into this. Nice view, right? We got the left hand here, right hand here, my head here, and then in the right hand, lower right hand corner, there's going to be tab coming in and out. All right, so I'm going to start by playing the entire intro in its entirety. All right, you notice we've got a capo on the first fret, and the tab is going to be written, I'll remind you of this again, but the tab is going to be written relative to the capo, not the absolute frets that it is. So the capo will be considered the new nut. That's 0 right there. All right, here we go. I think I played it better there than on the record, actually, but that's always how it is, right? And so when this guitar part comes back in the chorus with the singing, it sounds like this. Bound, bound together by how it is, not the way it should be, but the way it So in the PDF of the tab, it's got the vocal melody over that as well. So if you want to learn to sing along with this, you could do that also. So let's break it up into little phrases, all right? The first phrase is measures 1 and 2. And like I said, remember the tab is written relative to the capo, okay? So this is your first fret, this is 2, all right? Open is open, all right? So it's going to start in first position. The first phrase is... One more time. Okay. So we're in second position, first finger on the second fret, and we've got these two open strings. Two open, open. And for the whole measure, or for the whole two measures, these notes kind of stay the same. And this top voice changes. Now, this is the thing. A lot of these arpeggios, that's all arpeggios, I'm not going to be talking about most of them as though they're chords with names. Because it's really not so much chords with names. It's really more like 4 voices for different... It's like counterpoint. You know, this is kind of how I think of it. So, yeah. So basically you've got... And then you've got this top voice that's going... Right? You're going to have 2 open, 3 open, right? All right. And of course, you know, you want to bring out the bass note and bring out the top note, right? The inner voices that just keep they're these open strings are kind of less salient. So like... Make it melodic like that. As far as my picking hand, okay, I've got the camera on that. You can take a look at that, of course. But just a disclaimer, my ups and downs are somewhat idiosyncratic, and I'm not gonna push them on you. I think a lot of people might have more dialed in ways of alternate picking it. You know, there's I also, oh, by the way, also the way I hold my pick, I kind of hold it like that instead of like that. So this is, so there's a, I started off a little bit self-taught before I started taking lessons to these habits. It's working for me, but yeah, you can check out. I mean, I don't do this totally alternate picking. This is alternate picking, and then I like down, or you know, or up. I just like ups a lot. So, you know, grain of salt. So the second phrase is measures 3 and 4, and this phrase is very similar to the first phrase. It sounds like this. All right, I'll play it again. So it's like for this one, you've got open and second finger on the second fret there. And you've got open G string and starting with your first finger on the first fret of the B string. All right, so open, 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 2. And it's the same kind of thing where these bottom notes, change and the top one goes. Right? You've got the, you use the ring finger on that top 2, the top second fret. So 1, open, 2. Okay? Together, the first 2 phrases are... change position. Right. So your starting shapes. They're not chords, but, you know, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? That shape to start with, and then that. The next two phrases, you could kind of think of them as one phrase. This is measures 5 and 6. That's these. I'll do that slower. This is not totally different from those other phrases. The first two, it is, you've got a thing where you're like, let's think of it as some lower chords with a melody note, lower chord with melody note. So like, right, that's your first lower thing. Open to open. And then the high thing is happening. Right? 3, 2, 3. All right? And then this is then the lower thing. Right? We got 3, 2, 3. And then the upper melody is. Okay, so if you were talking about accompaniment versus melody, it would be. All right, 2 chords. And the upper melody is. Right? And then it goes to this in the next phrase. So you're gonna have open, and then you're gonna have your your middle finger there on the second fret. I always, for some reason, have my index finger there. You don't need it there on the second fret, but because I'm thinking of this as like, but you don't need this there. I just have it for vibe. I don't know. And then for right. So remember, I said the melody is. But yeah, I'm doing pinky, ring finger, pinky, and I'm also hitting that open B string with it. Right, for those first two. Right, it's going back and forth from this one. Then let's go to this chord and the right. So that's open. Right. That high melody is open. 5, 4. Right. Is that right? I'm getting these frets mixed up. 5, 4. Right. Am I looking at this? It's so, yeah. 5, 4, right, so. With the pinky, and then this is open, pinky, pinky. So you have to do a little stretch there. And then it goes to that for the next phrase. So you'll notice a big part of this, the reason why I'm using open strings is so that things can ring out and blend together, you know, the same way like when you have a pedal on the piano, you know. And then I'm also doing stuff with like leaving fingers held down for as long as possible. So, and then when I go to that next chord, I keep that pinky held down. I go to this chord and I keep that pinky held down as long as I can. So, and then when I do this, the pinky there, I'm still holding down the other fingers up until I switch to this, which is the beginning of the next phrase. measures 7 and 8 are kind of like they kind of round out this phrase. So it's kind of like the previous two phrases and this are kind of all one thing. But this next thing is... Right, I'll play that again. And this little thing kind of leads, a big dramatic leads into the next thing. All right. So if you check out the last two phrases plus this, it's going to be like... Okay. So this descending thing is basically you just... slid the pinky down, and now you're going to this. You got a C down there, right? So like second fret, first finger, and then you're gonna do on the third fret, you're gonna do that middle finger, right? And so that's your shape now that you're landing on. This, we can call this a C minor chord, right? I mean, a little skeleton of a C minor, but with the open G string, right? Because it's got that A flat. Because the capo, the open G string is actually an A flat, so right? Root minor sixth fifth, and once you're in that position, you've got... It's the same kind of thing as before, where the bottom three notes are static and the top note goes down. Right? The descending melody on top is... Right? 3, 2, and then these octaves. So just a little quick recap of everything so far. If you're just looking at it in terms of shapes, we're not calling things chords really, but you'd be like... So you've got those octaves that lead you into the sixth phrase, okay? So the sixth phrase is a little different than the other ones as far as how you would think about it. It's not so much lower chord with melody note changing. It's really more of just a bass note that rings out and then a line, okay? It sounds like this. All right, so... Now, of course, there's ringing out notes and open strings and stuff, but like I said before, that's all to give it that sort of pianistic effect, like you're riding the pedal on a piano, right? What you're really hearing is this line, right? Right? It's like a Phrygian thing if you're like in F Phrygian, right? Because the open string is F. So check this out. So you're going to be in fourth position, right? Which looks like fifth because of the capo, right? Instead of, you're going to have, and then the open string, right? 6, 4, open, and you're going to do, and then 4, and then you switch position The reason I've got this pinky here, the reason I'm not doing this, is the reason I've got that pinky there, because you're gonna do like 6, 4, open, 4, and then when it goes to this 5, it's gonna go 5, 3, open, right? Because you're gonna want your ring finger and your index finger for this. So you're gonna be going like. So that's kind of like your two shapes you're gonna be dealing with. Right? And you're gonna have this open string that you're using to make the melody. So, right? So you're gonna have 6, 4, open, 4, 5, 3, open, and you're holding these notes as long as you know, leaving your fingers there for as long as you can, and then back down 3, 5, 4, open, and this is more like a real line. I mean, like a regular line. And then that's just, you know, a little ornament. It's a little ornament, right? I don't do, for some reason I like, and then roll down to that. 7th phrase, this is measures 11 and 12, and it's this. All right, slower, it's. All right, coming out of the 6th phrase, it's. Phrase. Okay, so these two chords, these I kind of do think of as chords. I think of that as a G chord. I mean, right? It's not a G chord, it's an A flat chord because of the capo, but yeah. Right? Just 3, open, and then you've got this 2, open. Melody note, right? I bring out the melody notes though. Give those a little extra pop. Right. Then it goes from that A flat chord to a G flat chord. I could sort of think of this as a G flat, looks like an F, G flat, major, like sharp 4 chord, you know. Yeah, I mean, very 90s alternative sound. So yeah. And then same top melody almost. We're gonna go to like power chord there, position, right? Right, you got like, you know, index and ring finger, 1, 3, and then open, and then use the 2nd finger there, so it's almost like your bar chord. And then you got the pinky. Yeah. 8th phrase, measures 13 through 16, okay? So this one is not so much a lower static voices chord thing plus popping out melody thing. This is more just like 4 chords being arpeggiated. Okay? The first one, this is the most recognized, this is the first like just straight up normal cowboy chord in the whole thing. Alright? Here's what this phrase sound, or this passage like. And I like to start it off in time and then kind of like to build it up dynamically, but also retard a little bit, like. Right? I'm kind of treating it all as equal. No one thing is popping out really. Alright, so you got your regular A minor chord. Then you're going to hold down, you're going to keep your first finger down there, and you're going to, it's not really an A minor chord, it's a B flat minor chord, but yeah. And then you're going to keep that first finger down, you're going to use your pinky, where you're going to take your ring finger off, and then your pinky is going to go on that 3rd fret of the D string, so... And yes, okay, so all 4 of these chords have an A in the bass, right? Or B flat, open string, right? So they're all, it's like changing chords over the A. Right? So yeah, A minor, then pinky, right? Pinky on the 3rd fret, open, and first finger still stays on the 1st fret there. Then you're going to hit that A again, and then you switch positions totally, and you go up to 3rd position. This 3rd chord, okay, so, wait, what measure is this? This is, this is measure 15, right? Measure 15, you've got, you're going to 3rd position, and you're going to bar. You're going to bar those, and you're going to use your ring finger to do that 4th fret up there. So, okay, it's very dissonant, but this is stacked fourths, right? A note, a 4th, and then another 4th, right? So that's very modern jazz, especially over a pedal tone, very McCoy Tyner. So it's just a moment of that, those jazziness, right? So, and then you get to measure 16. You're going to keep this bar, right? You're going to keep that first finger barred, and then you're going to take your ring finger off, and you're going to do middle finger on the 4th fret of the G string, all right? So, okay, so that's... Switch to 3rd position, stacked 4ths thing, keep that bar down, and bring that in. I have no idea what these chords would be called. Doesn't matter. So the 9th phrase, you get to measure 17, and the 9th phrase, the 9th phrase is the same thing twice in a row. So measures 17 and 18 are repeated in measures 19 and 20. Okay, so this is going to be the same phrase twice. Well, there's a tiny little difference in measure 20, but you'll see. Okay, this part is this. Okay, hear that? That last note is different. All right, I'll play it slower. So, measure 17, what this starts off in, you're in 2nd position, and it's like open E string, right, 2, 4, and then open, right? Metal people, a lot of you, are totally familiar with this chord. It's the Sanitarium of Metallica. Right? So yeah. So you do, then you're going to walk that bass line up to 2, and then 3, and then you've got, right? So that's the same phrase as before. Wait, what measure is that? That it's the same as from before? The, well, yeah, whatever that was, what measure was that? That was in, yeah, like in measure 11, It's like, right? So this is sanitarium chord, walk up with the bass to the 3rd fret and the, right? That's like that. G or A flat in this case. Okay, let's measure 17, 18. Measure 19, same thing. Sanitarium chord, walk up, and then you've got this A flat, G thing. Open to open, and then with your ring finger, you're gonna hit. Well, I do it with the pinky actually. The 4th fret there. 4th fret, and then we're going to this thing that's actually similar to something that's before. Okay, so just to recap, everything since the 6th phrase, everything since the right, that one. Here's what we've had since then. Okay, octave transition, open string, Phrygian thing. Little ornaments, and then the A flat or the G major chord open with the little thing, and then the F or G flat major sharp 4, and then these 4 chords in a row that start with the A minor. Right, 1st finger stays the same, inner voices change. Switch up to the 4th position for that stacked 4th chord. Bar stays the same. Right? Then we've got sanitarium. Walk the bass up. Same phrase from before. Then again, sanitarium. Walk the bass up. Open. And then different last note. And then we're getting into this. Okay? 10th phrase, measures 20 and 21. This is really almost the same thing as the 5th phrase. It's this C minor skeleton with things changing. So this thing goes, it's like, you get. Okay? I'll play that phrase again. By the way, like I said with the disclaimer, I'm just picking all of these up, like down, up, down, up, down, up. Is that awesome? I think so, but it may be just maybe do your own thing. But right. So this is very similar to the 5th phrase where you've got this skeleton of like a C minor chord. Right, skeleton of a C minor chord, but not played with these fingers, played with pinky there, because you're gonna have to scrunch around, and you wouldn't be able to scrunch this if you use your ring finger. So, right, so you got like, and then this open string, that open G string. So, right, it's like a it's like a root 5th. We talked about this before, yeah. So before, in the 5th phrase, it went. And then this one's different. This starts out the same. And then 2nd finger slides down there. Right? We're in the same position, but. And then instead of going to the open B string, it goes up to the open E string. So. Thing is this you definitely could think of as a chord. This is, we're in second position. We're barring this on the second fret there, and you've got a ring finger down here on the fourth fret. So you've got, right? So that is a B flat. It's a B flat major chord in first inversion. And that's a transition chord leading up to this next thing. All right, so yeah, it's going back to that kind of beginning thing, like in phrase 5 or earlier, where you had these lower notes staying the same, and the top note going down. But instead of going down, it goes up to the opening. And we get to the 11th and 12th phrases. You could think of them as one phrase. The last two bars of the song, what measures are? That's the measures 23 and 24, okay? These sound like this. They're... right? This is a little stretchy here. Play it again. Goes down to this C for the last note. Okay, so just to show you where it was coming from, right? The phrase before it was, and then this transitional chord, the B flat major chord in first inversion. All right, that's bringing you up to this. Right. So what we've got up here is basically like a skeleton of an E flat major chord, right? This is a transition, right? Like the bass note was going from the C to the C minor. So this is kind of like normal chords, almost kind of like, well, the good voice leading would be, but it's up here. So yeah, right, so, and then you got this little skeleton here. And so this is the same kind of thing as that early stuff. Well, it's also got that same little motif. Ba-ba-da-bum. So it's kind of like you've got a power chord for your bass, your foundation of it that's staying the same. And the top notes are going, right? And we're using this open string to sort of have things ring out in the piano-like way. But if you played it without that, it would just be like, right? Right? But we're doing, and then we're doing open string, and then you're going to take your pinky that was there on the 7th fret, and you're going to move it down to the G string. So you can go, and then open, and then pinky does that 7th fret, 7, 7, pinky, yeah, right, yeah. So index, ring, pinky, open E, pinky on the 7, ring finger that's already on the 7. And then for this 24th bar, for this last thing after, you're going to have, all right, that's one of the trickier things, okay? So basically what it is music-wise is you've got power chord, right? Almost the same melody, right? Okay? But we're using the open strings. So, and then we're gonna go down, and this is this thing where we're holding notes for as long as we can, right? Not just with open strings, but with fretting strings. We want to hold on to them while we segue into other stuff. So, And then we're going into measure 24. We're going to keep this pinky there, and we're going to reach down, and we're going to be in with the first finger down there on the 3rd fret. And we're going to have this, like this power chord there, but it's with the middle finger. So it's kind of like we've got stacked fifths. Little emo, right? But it's just because we're holding the pinky still. Right? So once we get to that power chord there with the 3 5 3 5, then we're going to move the pinky up to the 7th fret. Okay? So you're going to have, right? So pinky on the 7th fret of the B string. Right? 3 3 5 7. And then you're going to have open E string like before. Open E string, and then you're going to move your pinky down just like you did in the previous phrase, down from the B string to the G string on the 7th fret. So 7, open E, 7th, the pinky there, and then play that the D string where your middle finger already is. So that's kind of like your shape, right? Right, 3 5. I keep trying to sing this. 3 5 7. Right, skipping the strings, and that's the thing. You're gonna want these really arched. You're gonna have these fingers really, really arched so that you're not getting in the way of the open strings, right? This is like, really real fingertip shit, right? I had to practice this a lot. Like, don't get, you're not gonna just devour this. I'm like. Right? So it kind of ends with that emo 5th. Right? So it's kind of like, right? That's how I would think of these last two phrases, is like skeleton of, whatever, of major chord, and then pinky. That's how I would think of it. Down, and then that, and then just ends with that, just with a 2nd fret. There's a lot of stuff in there. I would recommend practicing it in the chunks that I, the way I divided it up into these phrases, and I tried to, without going on theory tangents, I thought it would be good to have some sense of like, just some structural sense of like what each little gesture is, as far as like a root note, middle notes, and a changing melody, bass note, middle notes, and a changing melody. Same thing here, changing melody over some basic bass notes. I thought that that's a good way to sort of get it just helps me like remember what's going on, so it's not just like note. So there you have it, Fascist Moments, the entire guitar intro. And remember, this guitar intro, it's the same part that happens on the chorus as well. So you'll hear that. And yeah, if anyone had any questions about that, there's going to be some guitar, like group guitar, AMA sessions for patrons, of the Patreon, where possibly you could, write in the comments and ask me some more stuff there. Write in the comments here any questions you have. Maybe I'll be able to get back and respond in the comments. The links below, of course. Download the PDF of the tablature. Purchase the record if you don't have Simple Answers, which Fascist Moments is on. There's a purchase link down below as well. And there's also, you can also check out the behind the music of the entire Simple Answers record, where I talk about Fascist Moments at length, conceptually, the lyrics, mostly the lyrics and the philosophical foundations for it. It's a whole world. Simple answers. So, yeah, it's this is the great. This is the first of the last things guitar tutorials. So there's going to be more stuff from Extra Life, from my solo stuff, from Psalm Zero, and also, yeah, in the comments, just any general feedback about how this tutorial was for you, ways that maybe you think I could improve on how I explain things or the visual layout, anything like that, go for it in the comments. Let me know. All right, see you around.